Okay, good evening everyone. So today we will do biology under diseases. I know we cannot continue with genetics or with the video. You can do it personally or physically in class. So let us look at diseases. This one also never misses in an exam. Diseases, this topic is always found in an exam, so we have to be updated together. So diseases. What is a disease? A disease is a loss of health resulting from the disturbances of the normal processes of the body. So a disease is the loss of health resulting from the disturbances of the normal processes of the body. That is what is called the disease. Is a loss of health resulting from the disturbances of the normal processes of the body. Now, the same disease should be maintained by what is called the good health. It means if you are not sick, if you do not have these diseases, you must have good health. So what is good health? We should be able to define good health according to the World Health Organization. So what is good health? If you are not sick, then you must have a good health. Now what is good health? So according to the World Health Organization, the WHO, good health is the complete physically, mentally, and the social well-being of a person. So, good health, according to the World Health Organization, is the complete physically, mentally, and the social well-being of a person. When you are physically fit, when you are mentally fit, as well as the social well-being of a person, then you have a good health. Now, what do we mean by physically fit or physical healthy? When talking about the physical health, we are talking about when all the body parts, either the internal parts or external parts, which includes the cells and tissues, are functioning properly. So we were physically healthy when your internal parts of the body, such as the heart, the lungs, and all other parts, which includes even cells, and also the external parts such as the ears, the legs, the mouth, and all the parts which you can see are functioning properly, then it means you are physically fit. So that is physical health. Then mental health. Mental health is when a person is able to cope up with the depression of the normal life. If you're able to cope up with the stresses which is caused by the normal life, that is what is called mental health. It means you are okay mentally. If you're able to get over the problems which we face, always. Then apart from the mental health, we also have the social well-being. The social well-being, it is when a person this refers to the way a person communicates with other people in the society, and also the way a person makes friends. For example, in most cases, according to the World Health Organization, they give the example of going to movies with friends, which is not common here in Africa, especially. We don't go to movies, especially in Zambia. Anyway. So, but going with friends to movies, it means that you are socially active with friends. So, the way we communicate with neighbors in the society determines our social well-being. So, if you do not have a good communication with other people, then it means you are not you do not have the good health. You are sick, according to the World Health Organization. Okay, so this is the definition of good health according to the World Health Organization, WHO. That is just the health agency of the UN, the United Nations. Now, how can you maintain this good health? How can you maintain the good health? So, how can you stay healthy? How can you maintain the same good health we're talking about? One, by having a balanced diet. So you can maintain the good health by having a balanced diet. You should not miss a day without eating a fruit. You know, fruits are cheap. You have bananas, you have oranges. An orange is quite expensive. We have apples. We have many types of fruits. Not only an apple is a fruit, even guavas are fruits. So you should not miss a day without eating a fruit. Apart from that, vegetables in your diet, and also some types of other vegetables and fruits which we must be eating every day. So make sure that you have those 5 nutrients, the one we mentioned in the last lessons. That's when you have a balanced diet. Then apart from that, by doing regular exercise, and also apart from regular exercises, there we also have by doing some mental activities such as the what do you call those type of questions which play with the mind. And I've forgotten, but it's about that. So by doing the mental activities which involves thinking, there are some questions which do not even have answers, which you can try to play with those such kind of questions. Also, solving mathematics is part of the mental activities. So if you do these two things, then you maintain the good health. You have good health. Now, remember we defined a disease as a loss of health. Now, let us look at some of the types of diseases. Types of diseases. What are some of the types of diseases do we know? We are not talking about the HIV and AIDS, we are not talking about the diseases one by one, but groups of diseases. So one, we have what are called the pathogenic disease. We have what are called the pathogenic diseases. What are pathogenic diseases? These are diseases caused by an organism called the pathogen. So, diseases caused by organism called the pathogens. Pathogenic diseases, these are diseases caused by organisms. These organisms are called the pathogens. Examples of such kind of diseases we can give is cholera. So example, we have cholera. Cholera is caused by an organism called the Vibrio cholerae. So cholera is caused by an organism called the Vibrio cholerae. So this is an organism which causes the cholera. So this organism is called a pathogen. So pathogenic diseases, these are diseases caused by pathogens. Then apart from pathogenic diseases, we also have the mental diseases or mental illness. Apart from pathogenic diseases, we also have the mental illness, the diseases of the mind. These are diseases of the mind. Mental illness or mental diseases, these are diseases of the mind. The disease which comes about due to the psychological problems are called mental diseases. So you can characterize these by the emotions and also behaviors that are not considered to be normal in the society. So if you have a swelling motion, for example, the uncontrollable swelling motion, and also some behaviors which are not considered to be normal in the society, then you are mentally ill. Then apart from the mental illness, we also have degenerative diseases. Degenerative diseases, the diseases which comes about due to aging, diseases caused due to aging. Ukota, those are what are called degenerative diseases. The disease which comes about as you are getting old. For example, the loss of memory. So for example, loss of memory is an example of degenerative disease. Apart from that, the lack of attention and also the loss of abilities to solve their own problems. As we're getting old, we fail to solve problems. I believe you have observed that when someone is too old, even to the toilet, they're just being taken. They are failing to solve such kind of problems. So those kind of diseases are called degenerative diseases. There is also the problem with the central nervous system, where the old person is just shaking anyhow, failing to control the nervous system. So those are examples of degenerative diseases. Then lastly, the deficiency diseases. Deficiency diseases. The deficient diseases, these are diseases which are caused due to starvation or maybe too much eating, obesity. So, D, we have deficient diseases. Now, what are these diseases? We said that the diseases caused by starvation, the diseases caused by starvation and obesity. Starvation is lack of food. You are lacking nutrients. That is the starvation. So lack of food. Then the obesity is when you're eating too much of fats and the carbohydrates. That is obesity. So when you are lacking some nutrients due to starvation, then the diseases which will suffer from are called the deficiency diseases. Now we have a number of deficiency diseases, of which I will list some of them, then I will give you guidelines on how to go on these type of diseases. You do a research. So examples of deficiency diseases. Examples of deficiency diseases. examples of deficiency diseases. One, we have kwashiorkor. So one, we have kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor is an example of the deficient disease. It is caused due to lack of proteins and carbohydrates. So caused due to lack of proteins and carbohydrates. So kwashiorkor is the disease caused by due to lack of proteins and carbohydrates. So if in the meal you are eating does not contains proteins and the carbohydrates, especially carbohydrates on kwashiorkor, then the disease which you suffer from is called the kwashiorkor. Now, you should know the signs and the symptoms of this kwashiorkor. So signs and symptoms. You should know the signs and symptoms of kwashiorkor. So kwashiorkor, it is characterized by stunt growth, where a person is not growing. Where a child is not growing, it is very common in children. Then apart from that, we have low energy. It is also characterized by a person having low energy. Apart from that, low resistance to infections. Low resistance to diseases or infections, if you may like. Then always hungry. Some of you are always hungry. Maybe you are suffering of this disease. So check on that. So kwashiorkor is a disease caused due to lack of proteins and carbohydrates. I emphasize to say especially carbohydrates.